Ian and I bought a record player, and I bought this, and I can't stop. So what's up, pups? How you guys doing? I'm doing great, thanks for asking. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about some outdated phrases that I've been thinking about lately. There are some things that I have been saying forever, or at least as long as I can remember, like phrases that I just know what they mean, and I've come to the realization that younger generations might not know what these phrases mean. Yet they're still around, and these younger kids probably use these phrases and don't even really understand. So let's talk about them. So the first one's not actually a phrase, it's more of an icon on the computer. And I noticed it the other day, and I was very shocked that it's still around. And that's the floppy disk save button on computers. Do kids even know what floppy disks are? Like, I went to hit save on my PC the other day, and I noticed that the save button is still a floppy disk. And it confused me. I mean, because I know what a floppy disk is. I mean, I remember being young and saving 8 photos on a floppy disk. And I say 8 because that's all a floppy disk would hold. If you were lucky. The amount of floppy disks that I had that were full of Sailor Moon photos and those little dolls, I think they were called, D-O-L-L-Z. You could like make these little dolls. Do you guys remember those? Am I showing my age? I might be. Anyway, so floppy disk icon. Kids must think that it's just the save icon. Maybe they don't know that it's a floppy disk. I'm old. Okay, so now the phrase, hang up the phone. Because people say it all the time, right? Like, hang up the phone. I don't know if people realize that, like, before the age of cell phones and portable phones, there were phones that had this weird cord, like a spirally cord connected to it that was connected to the wall. And you pick it up and it's connected, and then you hang it back up, you hang it back up, or you hang it on the wall, because there were those too. If you didn't have one of these, you had one of these. Hang up the phone. That's where that came from. Okay, and this is just, this to me is weird because I feel like I am really showing my age or my generation gap, because I've been hearing kids lately these days using terms like slay. What does that mean? Like, slay to me means like to kill something, like I'm going to slay you, like kill. And I hear people just saying it like slay. I don't understand. Like, is it like a term of like kindness? Because I don't understand. So growing up in California, gnarly meant like cool, like oh, gnarly bro, like catch a wave, whoa, cool. And now apparently gnarly means gross. So I feel like I don't know how to use it anymore, because I still would want to be a child at heart and say gnarly, like meaning like cool. Yet now it means like gross. Like you say, hey, that girl's gnarly, or hey, that tree is gnarly. But then if you say that tree is gnarly, gnarly also means like knots and stuff, I think. So that wouldn't work unless you meant it was like an ugly naughty tree. But then if you say naughty, we don't mean bad. Ah, what are words? There's so many word meanings, I'm getting confused. Okay, I'm taping my shows. No, you're not. You're recording them. But I still say I'm taping it, because back in the day, you couldn't DVR a show or TiVo a show. You had to physically put a VHS tape into your VHS player and hit record and hope that you weren't recording over like a baby being born or a wedding or a birthday celebration or something else that was super important, because I've done that before and it is not fun. So this is something that I grew up saying, as if, and I still say it sometimes, and people look at me like, as if what? I'm like, what do you mean? Have you not seen Clueless? Except for that was literally the story of my life, except I was younger, because that's how people talk in California. They say whatever, they say as if, they say get a life, gag me with a spoon. These are all things that I grew up saying. Clueless is literally my life. Food stamps is another outdated saying, and I know that food stamps are still used, like widely used, if you make less than a certain amount a year. However, food stamps now are like a credit card, like you actually get a credit card, I think. And it used to be actual stamps, like they were literally like a sheet, and to pay for things you would use the stamps, the food stamps, like actual, and now it's not. You can't tell me that you haven't been watching a show before and you have said, rewind that, I want to watch it again. rewind that is a very outdated saying because again, this goes back to VHS tapes. If you wanted to see something again, you had to rewind it because you couldn't just hit a back button like TVs do nowadays. Dashboard, like in a car. This is like probably the most outdated saying on my list. The dashboard on the car, right? It's still called a dashboard, but it is literally not what a dashboard used to be. It's the weirdest thing ever. So it used to be like a thing that they put in front of horse-drawn carriages, okay? And if the horse dashed, like, you know, ran, you guys know what dash means, and then dirt and debris, like, would, you know, obviously get kicked up when the horse is running, they had a dashboard so that the dirt and debris wouldn't hit the driver in its face, or in its face, like it's an it. It wouldn't hit the driver in their face. So that was what a dashboard was. It was literally it was a board used when horses dashed. Roll up the window. Most cars don't have crank rollers anymore unless you own an old car. New cars come with automatic windows, so roll up the window used to actually be a motion that I've done before. So that's a thing. Why don't you ask Jeeves? That used to be a thing, and now AskJeeves.com is what? I want to ask Jeeves, where's AskJeeves.com? Why don't you go ask Jeeves is something that I used to say when I was younger because it was like a smart aleck retort. Like if someone asked you a question and you're like, well, why don't you go ask Jeeves? Well, now people just say Google it. So I guess people don't really use why don't you go ask Jeeves anymore, but it was fun before it was gone. Turn on, turn off, and don't touch the dial. All referring to a television because you used to physically have to turn on a TV, turn off a TV, and it was a dial to change channels. And now we have remotes. I guess technically you're still turning on the TV because you're pushing a button and it's turning on. However, turning on refers to actually having to turn something on the TV to make it work. Quit yanking my chain. That one actually refers to toilets because toilets used to have chains to flush them. Quit yanking my chain. It's weird. I'm sorry. You sound like a broken record when someone's repeating something over and over and over and over and you want them to shut up and you say, stop it, you sound like a broken record, because back in the day, records that were broken or didn't work correctly, they would get caught on the record player as they're spinning, so it would repeat the same loop over and over and over and over. And that's why you say you sound like a broken record. I actually have a record player now! This saying can still be used in my life! Anyway, I just felt like sharing some of these with you. If you didn't know what some of the actual sayings meant, I hope that you learned what they meant. If you did, I'm sorry for being condescending to you. I am not testing your knowledge. I love you. If there are some outdated sayings that I've left off of my list, please comment them down below and we can all laugh and discuss them together. If this is the first video that you're seeing of mine, hi, I'm Kayleigh. You should subscribe and we can become best friends forever. Links to my Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, and Instagram are also in the description bar. I will see you guys in a few days with another video. Peace out, trouts.